And we are live here. We saved the best, the biggest for last, I think. I have with me here Jodee Rich, the co-producer, the force, the man behind NFT NYC, which is really just put itself on the map wonderfully over the past few years. And I think really this time has established its footprint as one of the premier conferences in the world.
Well, you are amazing for saying that. Thank you.
Yeah,
New York is amazing. New York is amazing. The community is amazing. It's really been an extraordinary experiment to see how the community can manage itself into a conference. Mm-hmm. We started it in August 2018 with my friends at OpenSea and Cameron Vale on my team, and we said, we have three things that we want to achieve. One, we want the community to have a voice. That means to put as many people on stage as possible. And so we do this wild and crazy thing. There are no gaps, and 120 people per stage per day. And it's just on and off, 10-minute lightning talk. If you can't say what you need to say in 10 minutes, then you just got to do it. So that's one thing. The second thing is we want to bring the people who have similar ideas together so that we minimize the duplication of effort and we maximize the sharing. And that's been one of our values since day one. And the last thing, which I think we've failed on in previous years, is sharing with the broader community. And it's only been this year that we've attracted so much mainstream interest. Mm-hmm. This year we've had over 250 reporters want to be here. This year we've turned on Times Square billboards. I don't know if you were there on the red steps yesterday. No, you weren't. You just flew in. So at 8:30 yesterday morning, 11 of the beautiful billboards on Times Square were our canvas, the canvas for about 1,000 NFTs. And we all sat on the red steps at the northern end and watched the show. And that was an extraordinary moment because that made us, this ecosystem feel like we were showing the world why NFTs are important.
Well, it must be just an amazing feeling. I'm sure it was surreal.
It wasn't surreal. I think I'm still pinching myself though, just about how big all of this is. Uh-huh. And this is an experiment because we think we can be 3 or 4 times bigger. We will be, because this year we had 5,500 tickets sold and there were 3,000 on a wait list. Mm-hmm. So we think that in June next year will be somewhere between 10 and 20,000 attendees. And it's not even a conference. We like to think it's a festival.
Right.
And one of the wild and crazy things we do is we've approved 51% of everyone who's applied to speak. One, because the applications were very high quality. And two, you sort of went back to that value where we want to create panels of people who have similar things to talk about. And the experiment was the panels were self-assembling. So if you said, generative art was your thing, mm-hmm. then we automatically put the generative art people together. We automatically sent them an email and said, you organize yourselves, produce your deck, and work out who the moderator is. And, it's worked in 97% of the cases.
Wow. Well, it really is amazing. And, the space has some spectacular people. I mean, you were just talking with Brock Pierce, and, they were talking politics and, different parts.
Yeah, well, Brock thinks that NFTs should be in politics for several reasons. Fundraising, which is fairly obvious. The one that's not so obvious, though, that really interests me is NFTs can be a very, very direct way for you to engage with your audience. No algorithms in the middle, no social network containers to fiddle, and you can own the content. And if I give you, in fact, I made an agreement with Brock on stage this afternoon, and he said that we could mint 1,000 collectible Brock speaker cards, that people have them, and he said that he would then communicate through those NFTs with the 1,000 people.
Wow. And
I said, Brock, what are you going to communicate? He said, well, people are going to hold me to my promises. People are going to hold me to the things that I say I'm going to get done. Then in the political environment, we all know that the issue is people make promises. Power is corrupting. They don't follow through with the promises. And we are going to inscribe the promises on the collectible NFTs that he shares with the people who vote for him.
Well, that's amazing. So more history, and the event is historic. Of course, the movement that we have been part of for all these years is historic, and of course the event is historic. So it is amazing that you have that on stage and moving that forward. So let's talk. You had so many people come here. It's more of a festival that it's really turning into, and you get that feeling. What is that? And what 100 and something you said, journalists and media that wanted to come?
Over 200 reporters.
It's just amazing. Well,
it's great. That's our third value. Proselytize, share with the community, and this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
And when you say historic moment, great guy from Rolling Stone magazine, Larry. He said to us a couple of times, and I recorded him. He said he thinks this is like the Woodstock moment.
It's the Woodstock moment, and I'm really proud to be here. So glad you came on with us. I really appreciate it. So as far as this Woodstock moment that we have in NFTs and for your conference and here in New York and this historic COVID times and everything else, what is the most exciting thing that you see coming out of the NFT space?
It's the popularizing of NFTs. I mean, you saw Michael Rapino, the CEO of Live Nation, send out a few days ago a release that, biggest ticketing company in the world is embracing NFTs. So all of the things that we wished for, thank you, universe, all the things we wished for in 2019 and 2020 is that major brands and enterprise help us get this incredible technology out. And why is the technology incredible? It's incredible because for the first time we have a technology object that allows you to register the things that are your virtual assets. Your pictures, it could be your domain names, could be an hour of your time. And instead of sort of throwing it off the cliff and waiting for it to drop into the container called a social network, you can now own these things. And you can own them and use them in a virtual environment like a game, or you can pull them out, the same NFT, and you can put it on your profile, or you can put it on your wall. So we actually have a thing now that is connecting our aspirational worlds, our dream worlds, with our real physical life.
It's a mouthful.
It's profound.
It is profound.
And it's tribal, and it's collaborative. And as Gary V and I discussed yesterday, it also can create value.
Yes, there's no doubt. Now, it takes a lot of leadership and vision in order to assemble an event like this. It also takes an amazing team to put that together. And of course, the leadership, the team is a reflection of the leadership. So let's talk about the team. What does it take to pull off an event like this?
So Cameron Bell and I, the co-founders, we also had a lot of help from our friends at OpenSea, Alex and Devin, particularly in the early years. And we really believe the smaller the team, the better, which is a pretty wild thing to say. Julie Lamb has helped us with volunteers. We've had a big team of volunteers, and they've been amazing. What we're about is trying to enable the community so they can do as much as possible. And when you sign up as a speaker, you tell us all these things that, as I mentioned earlier, allow us to sort of self-assemble you into panels. We used to speak to every person who applied. We can't do that anymore. And we're going to send a survey out on Friday. I think the experiment worked. I mean, everyone I've bumped into has said, wow, the content has been incredible. And the interesting thing was, one of our team members said to me a few months ago, oh, we need some celebrities. And I said, no, we are not about celebrities. We are about giving the community a voice. And I think the community understands that. And then normally, communities follow celebrities. What's happened here is the celebrities have followed the community. And so the biggest struggle for us over the last few weeks has been all of the celebrities who at the very last moment have had their PR people contact us. And we've scrambled to try and fit them in.
To name a few, we had Quentin Tarantino last night. Of course,
he was yesterday afternoon, or yesterday morning.
Afternoon.
Yeah.
Your wonderful assistant,
Alexis Ohanian from Reddit, Bill Ty, who's a buddy, kiteboarding buddy, he was there. Brock. We've had some amazing people. Jimmy Wales, the founder of Wikipedia, he contacted me a few weeks ago, and he said, Jodee, this feels like the beginning of Wikipedia. The way we're putting this together. And it just gave me goosebumps. Yeah. And we sort of immediately had chemistry, and he was fantastic today.
That's amazing. So This as I always talk about the revolution, the blockchain revolution is now, I feel like, coming in, of course, to this NFT revolution. I know you'll probably take some time off after this. Your next event you mentioned is
In June next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
So that's going to be absolutely amazing. Do you have any venues or?
That's what we have to do. We're about 70% through finding the 10 venues that we need. And our vision is for this to be a festival on Broadway. Here we are in the city that for centuries has been the financial capital of the world, that for the last 8 decades has been the cultural capital of the world, arts, music, fashion. And guess what? It gives us this beautiful canvas in Times Square. So we're going to line up the venues so you can walk through Times Square, see your NFT projects, and hear your favorite thought leaders.
Well, absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. If you have some final thoughts that you'd like to share, it'd be great.
I think my final thoughts are that these big companies have called us users, and brands talked about user-generated content. Thank you, UGC. Well, we have a technology that is turning us all into creators. And there's not a single company that can take over the platform. The platform is not for sale. You cannot no matter how big you are, no matter what you call yourself, you cannot take over the Ethereum blockchain. You cannot take over these level 2s. So when I put my NFTs and my content onto these platforms, I have a scaffold for creating community that no one can take away from me.
Amazing. Jodee, Rich, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate it. Guys, the big guy. We end with this. So excited. See you in June, guys.